Good afternoon. My name is Jackie Wallace. I'm the career coach for education, public and human service fields. I have Andrew joining us today from the Peace Corps regional recruiter to share great information about wonderful opportunities and also his experience, out in the field. So today's presentation will be recorded so that we can share it out to other folks that were able to join us today and also to folks that were, so that they have information even after today. So Andrew, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We look forward to hearing more.
Thank you very much for having me. Again, my name is Andrew. I was a Peace Corps volunteer in the country of Namibia. While I was there, I was an education volunteer where I taught English to 5th and 7th grade in a rural farming community. And no matter where you go with Peace Corps, you're going to be learning a new language. The language that I was learning was one of 7 that are recognized in Namibia. It's called Khoikhoi Goab. And it is noted for its clicks that they use. There's 4 distinct clicks that serve as consonants within the vocabulary. And that is an indigenous language to Namibia. So it was really, really interesting to learn. This is a bit about the mission of the Peace Corps. You may have heard about the Peace Corps before in some way or another, but our main mission is to promote world peace and friendship. We do that by our 3 strategic goals. The first one is to partner with people of interested countries in meeting their need for trained individuals. Basically, how this works is the Peace Corps is invited to a country. We can't just go into any country that we feel like. So we have to be invited by that country's government, and we have to be there to be working on specific programs. So we focus on education, health, agriculture, environment, youth and development, community and economic development, and yeah, that was the 6th one. So yeah, those 6 main areas. But we want to take volunteers with experience in these areas, partner them with a community overseas where they're working with professionals of that community, and basically to make the change happen that community wants to see. Peace Corps volunteers are seen as a catalyst for change, and they just help that community, again, just achieve the goals that they want to see for that area. The second goal is to promote a better understanding of Americans. A lot of the times I was the first American that someone had ever met in Namibia, and it was just a really, awesome to talk to people and to be able to kind of dispel some of the rumors about the United States. And a lot of the questions I would get were, like, does everybody drive a Mercedes Benz? Like, does everyone live in a mansion? Like, what does $1 million look like? All those types of things that like people would see in movies, because that was really the only opportunity that they had to view the United States was through media and movies and that type of stuff. So just kind of had to just talk about just how in Namibia people do things differently in the northern part of the country as opposed to like in the western part of the country. Just how that's the same way in the United States. Just no matter where you go in the country, things are a little bit different, but it's still kind of all the same in one way or another. Same thing with this 3rd goal. So it's to promote a better understanding of sorry, my dog's having a dream. So if you hear anything, she's just dreaming. Mom, are you good? Yep, she's good. So sorry about that again. But again, the 3rd goal of Peace Corps is to promote a better understanding of the countries of service. So what we want to do is to provide, again, just a more insight on that country's culture, some of the experiences of work that you went through, like host family, that type of stuff. So you just want to provide a better understanding of the country as a whole. And then part of the way that we can do that is through this trivia game. So the map is up there of Namibia. It could be found in the southwest corner of the continent of Africa. It's mostly a desert area, mostly a desert country. Up in the northern part of the country, it's sort of like lush and tropical. But again, it's a widely a desert country, but very, very, very beautiful one. And then the country's flags down there below. But The first question is the opening line of the Namibian national anthem. If you had to guess what that would be, or maybe you already know the answer, but if you want to either throw it in the chat or if you just want to shout it out, yeah, what would you say it would be? Namibia, land of the brave, the mountains, or the desert? Jackie or Tanya, I'm relying on you. Oh, we got one in the chat here. Guessing mountains. That's a good guess. There are a lot of famous mountains in Namibia, but it is actually land of the brave. And this question speaks to the pre-service training aspect of Peace Corps and how Peace Corps volunteers you put an importance on learning the country and the culture of the host country. So each day before school, there would be a flag raising ceremony. And I learned the Namibian national anthem, so I could participate in that. We would sing that anthem and a bunch of other traditional songs during our pre-service training in order to prepare us for the 2 years of service. So yeah, that's just what that first question's all about. The second question, what does Namibia translate to in Khoikhoi-Goab? Do we think it's vast place or old desert? Nailed it. So it is vast place. Namib is the Khoikhoi-Goab word that means vast place. It's the second least densely populated country in the world. I think Mongolia is number one. But basically, to get from the top of the country to the southernmost point is about like 30 to 40 hours by car ride. So it is a very long trip. And it is a very big place. So that's what the second question is all about. The third question, what is the national animal of Namibia? If we had to take a guess. Tawny, you nailed it too. So it's the oryx. Good job. The oryx can be found on the country's coat of arms. It's kind of like an antelope. I believe it's in that type of like animal classification, but it's a desert dwelling animal and can go for weeks without water. It's really cool and can be found pretty much anywhere in the country. Again, they're national animal. There are a lot of cheetahs. There's a significant cheetah population. And the town that I would do my shopping in is called Otjiwarongo, but there is a cheetah conservation headquarters there. And it was really cool to see that. And then like the rehabilitation and conservation like programs that they had going for the country there. Back into more Peace Corps specific stuff. So why choose the Peace Corps? Basically, you can ask this question to a person, you're going to get a bunch of different answers. But I think this slide really sums it up. I mean, the reason that I wanted to be a Peace Corps volunteer was just to, be of service to the world, to learn something new about other cultures, to challenge myself in different ways. And again, just really all came back to that wanting to be of service. So I just encourage you to ask yourself that question, why do I want to choose Peace Corps? And kind of let those answers guide you through the application process and your Peace Corps journey in general. Some two main requirements to be a Peace Corps volunteer: need to be at least 18 years old and a U.S. citizen. Need to be a citizen because we're a government agency. So yeah, there's those 2 points. There is no upper age limit. The oldest person to serve is 86 years old. And there are a lot of Peace Corps volunteers that have went to service and came back. So nearly 250,000 to date. So there's a great network to connect with whenever you're done with your Peace Corps service. As I mentioned in the prior slides, these are the 6 main program areas that we focus on with different countries. Now, each country can have, a combination of these. Some have them all, some have one or two. It just all depends on what that country's goals are and what their partnership is with Peace Corps. And again, those countries specify all of those, and we are just there to be of service to them. If you are interested in doing secondary projects, those are kind of like, it would be, so for example, I was in the education program, and I was teaching English, but there was a school garden that was at the school that I worked at. So that would be an opportunity to get involved in different agriculture projects. So sometimes there would be certain bugs that were eating the plants, and we would go see what preventative measures we could take to get them to stop eating the plants. Or sometimes we would just need to do something as simple as pulling weeds. But it was just a different way to get involved and to be helpful and to be of service to the community. But basically, it's a great opportunity to, again, network and just to kind of show your community at large that you're just there to be of service. So it's a great way to connect with everyone. Just want to do a particular highlight on our health programs. If you have a desire to do health work in any type of form, these are some of the main programs that you can get involved with our health program. Health is considered a scarce skill in the Peace Corps world, so we're always looking for people with those types of skills. There's a maternal, newborn, and child health program. We do HIV and AIDS prevention, youth health and well-being. Those are the main focuses on that. Two other scarce skills with Peace Corps are agriculture opportunities and environment opportunities. Again, always looking for people with those specific skill sets. So these are the countries that are partnered with Peace Corps and that we send volunteers to. So anywhere from Central and South America, the continent of Africa, Eastern Europe, and all the way across Asia and the Pacific Islands. If you've ever wanted to, experience and learn about a different culture, this is a great opportunity to do so. You are really, again, this is a 2-year program, so this is just a very unique opportunity to live and to work and to really absorb the culture in a way that I can't think of any other ways really that you're able to do this unless you just kind of go on your own to one of these places. But yeah, if you're interested in a specific country, I'm happy to talk more about different opportunities that are there. This highlights the application process. Just a quick rule of thumb, 8 to 10 months before, or 8 to 10 months is like how long it takes to get through this process. It is a bit of a lengthy clearance process, but it's all in the name of making sure that you have nothing to take care of whenever you're overseas for the 2 years. So whenever you are in service, you can just be in service and don't have to worry about any financial paperwork or what have you back in the States. We want everything to be taken care of, so you can just go and again, be of service in your Peace Corps volunteer program. Everything's going to start online. peacecorps.gov is where all of our jobs are posted. A lot of people say, oh, I saw a job a couple months ago, but it's no longer there. Is that job gone forever? It's not gone forever. They get posted on a rolling basis. Generally, it's once a quarter. Usually at the first of the month of each quarter. I think it goes January 1st, April 1st. There's a July 1st one, and I think there's an October 1st deadline as well. So those are the main deadlines, but as jobs get filled, they'll take them down, and as new jobs come up, they'll be reposting them. So if you don't see one of interest right now, there's chances that it could be coming up a couple months down the line. But again, you want to apply 8 to 10 months before your desired departure date. But each job posting will have a real clear timeline. It'll say if you apply by this date, you'll know if you got accepted to serve by another date, and then your estimated departure date will be in that job description that you apply to as well. All in all, the initial application itself, takes about 45 minutes to 60 minutes to complete. You can only have one open application at a time. Now, there's two ways to apply. So you could apply to a specific job in a specific country. If you want to do that, I'm happy to sit down and do a resume review with you, and we could tailor your resume specifically to that job that you're looking to apply to. Also, there is the serve where needed most application. That's how I applied. I didn't care where I went. I just knew that I wanted to be of service and had some applicable experience towards the education program. So I figured that's where I would get placed. But basically, either way, you're going to upload a resume and a motivation statement. The only difference with the serve where needed most application is that Peace Corps places you where they think you would fit best. So they look at your resume and they try to match you up with a job they think you'd be a good fit for. There's another aspect to this application is that you can list your top 3 country choices. You can list your top 3 job choices. And there's also an open-ended section where you could just kind of list out another ideal scenario that you would want to be a Peace Corps volunteer in. It's not a slam dunk. You know, they're going to try their best to find a good fit for you. But they also really want to make sure that they're just putting like the best possible match for everyone. So there's like gives and takes on all this, but you do get to put your preferences in nonetheless. A lot of people, this is like the most popular question that I get. What are competitive applicants, or what makes a competitive applicant? Most, if not all, of the countries are going to require a college degree or 5 years of professional experience. Not only is this just from an experience standpoint, but this was also going to qualify you for a work visa in the country of service. You're going to have a professional resume. Again, this is something that I do, and something that I really enjoy is meeting with applicants, whether it's over Zoom or in person, and just doing a resume review and trying to help highlight some of the strengths that you have on your resume. You're going to ideally have some volunteer experience and the ability to apply early. Again, it's that 8 to 10 month window that you're working with. The sooner you apply with that, I think the better, because it doesn't, it basically provides more flexibility throughout this application process. It's better to have like all your paperwork turned in early in case you need to, maybe there's a section that got missed or what have you, but it gives you some leeway in being able to resubmit things and not have it affect your departure time. So yeah, the ability to apply early is definitely like a good strength to have. Some resume tips. This is all courtesy of our placement team. So what you want to do is quantify your experience. If you have the exact hours worked per week for a job or volunteer experience, what have you, put those down. Even if it's just a ballpark number, that's totally fine. Going on the honor system here. You also want to show any results. Say you were out in, I don't know, out on Lake Ontario doing like water samples, and you found something, or your group found something really significant. Tell us about that data. But like really just kind of any data that can speak to your successes during that experience is something that you're going to want to highlight. If you have tutoring experience, make sure that you're including those hours as well. Any relevant classwork that you have that can help you, anything that you think would help you qualify for that job, I'm definitely going to want to put that on there. And then if you are going to apply to a Spanish-speaking country or a French-speaking country, and I believe there's like maybe 1 or 2 other countries that will have a language requirement, you're going to want to upload those transcripts. So that was a bit about the resume. This is going to be about the motivation statement. Basically, you got 500 words to tell us why you want to be a Peace Corps volunteer, and to tell us how you want, or how you plan to overcome challenges during your service. One thing I say is to make sure that you don't forget this second part. I mean, it is a motivation statement, So people tend to get carried away with that motivation part, but this second part is just as important. I tell people to pick a specific challenge that you're comfortable with speaking about, because it's going to come up in the interview. You should, again, list out the challenge, steps you took to overcome it, what you learned from it, and then how you are going to use that lesson to help you overcome challenges during your Peace Corps service. Getting into the benefits of Peace Corps service. So everybody's flight's taken care of from the time you depart the country until the time you come back to the country. So you get your flight to the country paid for and your flight from the country paid for, so you don't have to do anything in terms of flights. If you do want to come back to the United States during those 2 years, you would be responsible for that flight cost. But while you're there, everything is paid for. Get a living stipend, which covers your food. Housing is free. There's some travel benefits. That's all going to depend per country. You get medical and dental coverage through Peace Corps. And then there's different student loan deferment options, but you're going to want to check with your lender. And then there's a lot of different career skills and training opportunities throughout Peace Corps service to, again, help you boost your resume while you're there. It can help you secure a job quicker whenever you come back from service. Safety and health, there's medical personnel available. Each country has a exclusive team of doctors that works specifically with the Peace Corps volunteers. We had really great doctors, and I had just a bunch of great things to say about them. Anything I needed, I would just have, it would just be a phone call or a text away. Security officers as well. There's community immersion training, which is really integral because you want to, one, just, again, you're there to be in that community, and you basically just want to know how to integrate yourself in a culturally appropriate way. So a lot of pre-service training is centered around that. And then there's dedicated victim advocacy. If you do become victim of a crime, Peace Corps has your back with that. Benefits for after service. So you get a $10,000 check when you're done. That's yours to do with what you wish. There's professional networking and career services. So definitely going to want to take advantage of that. Federal employment advantages. If you've ever wanted to work for the government, whether it's Peace Corps itself, if you've ever wanted to work for like the Veterans Affairs or just like national parks, whatever government agency, this could help you get your foot in the door with government employment. It's one of the ways that I got my job with Peace Corps, and some of my friends from Peace Corps service are now working with the government across the country. One's in the Department of Housing, others working for the Department of Labor. But yeah, it's a really great benefit to have, especially after being overseas for 2 years, and you want to come back and you want to start working. So again, there's the public loan service forgiveness, but again, I'm going to say, make sure you talk to your lender to see what your options are. Access to affordable health insurance. I believe you get covered up to like 4 to 5 months of health insurance as you make that transition period back to the United States. If you're interested in grad school, I would highly encourage you to check out the Coverdell Fellowship Program. Again, exclusive to Peace Corps volunteers that have completed service, and they partner with schools all across the country. So if there's a particular field of interest that you wanted to study, you could potentially have that paid for through this program. Just a quick reminder, going back to where this is found on the website, it's peacecorps.gov. You're going to go to volunteer openings, then you can browse the openings there. Yeah, definitely just encourage you to check out the openings either now or just kind of on your own time, and then just to connect with a recruiter, me for Oswego. But yeah, just connect with me, and if there's anything of interest, I'm happy to sit down and talk more about it. And then this is just something I like to end on. Some pictures from Peace Corps service. I was, again, in the country of Namibia. I taught at a rural farming school, or a rural Ministry of Education. So it was like a boarding school, but it was in a farming community, and it served like the local farming communities that were around it. There were about like 200 to 300 students that were at the school. It was kind of like a mini college. There was dorms for the students. There was teacher housing as well. And yeah, it was a really, really great time. There was the village right next to the school had about 50 houses in it, anywhere from like maybe like 200 to 400 people in the village at any point in time. But I love to cook, and I would help out in the school cafeteria every once in a while, whenever they were shorthanded. So that was one of the things I really enjoyed the most, because I was able to talk with the people at the school and just kind of help ingratiate myself in that way, and just start to build some really great friendships with the people there and my colleagues. On the right, you'll see we all have our tools out. This was community cleanup day. So during the rainy season, a lot of grass grows in very quickly. With that can come mosquitoes that carry malaria in this part of the region of the world, and also like snakes and scorpions, which aren't good for kids to be around in the schoolyard. So the whole town, like young and old, came out. All the students and the teachers, we were just chopping up grass one Saturday morning, and then we baled all that grass into hay, and then gave it to the local farmers for free, for hay for their animals. So it was a really cool project that started in the community, and its like end result was safety for the kids, and also just food for the farmers' animals. So it was really cool to be a part of. As I mentioned before, played soccer since I was little. And basically, I'm just super grateful that I did have the opportunity to play soccer, and that it's always been a part of my life, because it helped me connect with people all around the world. And Namibia was no different. It really was like the common language in some ways, whenever there was a language barrier between me and just anyone in the village that I was in, or any part of the country that I was in. Just another way to show people that I'm just here just to be a good neighbor, really, and just to have fun, and to grow and to learn with everyone that's there. But really just appreciated the opportunity that soccer has given me to connect with people all across the world, and just really appreciate it for that. And then this last picture highlights like a way to get involved in a secondary project. So that windmill that you see currently wasn't spinning, because the wind's not always blowing in Namibia. But there is always sunshine. It gets more than like 300 days of sunshine a year. But beneath that windmill is the main like water source. So there was a well like way down below, but it was the main water source for the town. And we were looking to convert that wind powered turbine to a solar powered turbine to supplement the diesel powered generator that would pump water for like just. It was the main water source in the village. So we're just looking at a different way to make that more cost and environmentally like efficient. So different way to highlight the ways to get involved with secondary projects there. But that is it. This is my contact information. Please feel free to shoot me an email, or you can call me. That's my phone number there. But yeah, this is what I do full time, is connect with people like yourselves, help answer questions about Peace Corps service, walk people through the application process. And again, I can do a resume review if you schedule one with me. Happy to connect and see what experiences you offer. So with that, I'll open it up to question and answer if there are any questions. I see some in the chat.